Right, folks, pretty much late arrival on scene, and with you is Second Gear Productions, and welcome to the qualifying session. We're 8 minutes into the qualifying session. There is Johan Verree, the fastest qualifier so far, just 13 hundredths of a second off him. Is in fact Willem Botha. On the second row of the grid provisionally is Paul Gerber. Nice to see Sway Subé back in the mix as well. Presently on the third row of the grid is Christian van Wyk. Alongside him provisionally with a 2.83 Class B rating in iRacing. Internationally is JJ van der Merwe. Then we have Captain Peter van der Spey, the leading Grandmaster out there right now. He, in fact, is ahead of Carl Lawrence. Nice to see Carl Lawrence out there. Leon van Wyk, the being IT entry in ninth overall. Our new man, Frank Leclerc, is out there as well. Fani Gravenstein also joining us this evening, and he finds himself just outside of the top 10. And then the comeback kid, Robbie Teams, is in the house as well. Well, Pierre-Olivier Roste. Wow, that's nice. A bit of a French connection with Leonardo Beccari out there as well. And then I think Doug Gerber is in the pits. Yeah, he's in the pits right now. So with 10 minutes 31 gone, it's all about Willem Botha going one-on-one once again with Johan Verree. But I think the surprise is the JDS entry of a JJ van der Merwe. Fantastic to see JJ van der Merwe having a pretty good session. The only man that believes that green cars are lucky cars. Sway Subé in that fifth overall. That puts him on the third row of the grid on the inside. For those of you that did arrive late, Okayama International Circuit TCRs is what we are racing this evening. 11 minutes 15 into the quali session. Probably the average guy would get in around about 7 laps if he started timeously. Most of the guys got straight out of the pits and out onto the circuit. Frank Leclerc, one of the Hondas. So Peter van der Spey has gone into the pits. He is the fastest of the Grandmasters. Robbie Teings, who's now also completed his lone qualifying run. And it looks like just about everybody has had their qualifying. So it's time for us to have a look at how's that grid going to look. 15 entries out on circuit. And that is what your grid's going to look like. Once again, Johan Verree and Willem Botha on the front row of the grid. JJ van der Merwe and Paul Gerber, Sway Subé, Carl Lawrence, Christian van Wyk, Peter van der Spey, leading Grandmaster, Leon van Wyk from Frank Leclerc, Fani Gravenstein, Robbie Teings in there as well, which is fantastic to see Robbie Teings that is in fact so far up the grid. And I must say, Robbie Teings, it's lovely to have him back with us. He's really one of those top racers out there that we really enjoy following his racing. So that is the front end of the grid. I don't see a pace car, so it looks like it's going to be standing start. Waiting to get everybody onto the grid as such. And when the lights go off, it will be all about the action. nervous tension as the seconds tick away. Just about everybody's on the grid. Just waiting for the lights to go out. 25 minutes of racing. 15 seconds before the lights are going to go out. It's just about time. So here we go. Okayama in the TCRs. The lights will go on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. The lights go off and we go racing. And it looks like Willem Botha's done a very good pull away. Will it be Johan Fourie that will lead going into the right-hander? Johan Fourie leads as they work their way in. Everybody else coming through behind that. Oh, we've got one spinner. We've got two. Oh, JJ gets involved with that one as well. After a brilliant qualifying, he manages to get it together again as Willem Botha. That's right in there behind Johan Fourie. In behind that's Paul Gerber. Then it is Swayze Hubert. In behind Swayze Hubert is Carl Lawrence. Carl Lawrence right in there where it counts in the Oreo car. The Audi in there behind him is very, very close to his back end. Carl Lawrence working his way down the straight. It's going to be into that sharp right-hander, and it's going to be Johan Fourie that's going to lead them in. Johan Fourie, Willem Botha's all over the back end. Let's hope that this one goes all the way to the final flag. In there behind that, in the following up position, in the Martini car, he got it a little bit sideways. Swayze Hubert with Carl Lawrence all over his back bumper. Up underneath the Enkai Bridge, it's Leon van Wyk, it's Christian van Wyk, it's Frank Leclerc, it's Pierre-Olivier Loste, it's Leonardo Beccari that leads out on the Grandmasters, and Robbie Teings gets past him and he makes up one position from Leonardo Beccari. Behind that is a Fani Cravenstein that works his way through there. Then the next man we see is in... Oh! They make contact, and there's another contact situation going down there. Do Gerber running into a problem, so Robbie Teings finds himself now in that 10th position. Is Robbie Teings. JJ has gone into the pits. Peter van der Spey going into the pits as well, and Johan Fourie has gone straight through in the Monster Energy car. Willem Botha right in there behind him. Then the next man is Carl Lawrence. In behind that is then Swayze Hubert. Behind Swayze Hubert is Leon. Wow, Paul Gerber and Christian van Wyk going one-on-one. Massive battle between the two of them. And then behind that is, in fact, Frank Leclerc. It's Robbie Teings. It's Pierre-Olivier Lacoste is the next man that's coming through there. And I tell you what, that is going to be something else for him to try and make up some positions at this stage of the fight. If you look at the intervals right now, the closest battle is in fact the battle of Christian van Wyk that's just got past Paul Gerber. The two of them very, very close to one another. Line astern as they work their way through there. Nothing much in it whatsoever. Almost making contact as they work their way through the corner. But it's still Willem Botha all over the back end of Johan Fourie. The two of them are pulling away from Carl Lawrence. Swayze Hubert in the Oreo car. That's his favorite livery for him. And then Leon van Wyk directly behind that from Christian van Wyk. Touch of dust there from Leon as he came through. Nothing much between them as they work their way. Lap number 3 of a possible 15. Fastest lap has just been posted by Johan Fourie, with Willem Botha desperately trying to hold on to that one. Paul Gerber finds himself in a massive battle with Christian van Wyk. The two of them working their way through the debris that has ended up on the circuit. Another massive battle is Pierre-Olivier Loste that is right in there behind the original comeback kid, Robbie Teings. Lovely battle between the two of them. That is the closest battle right now. Swayze Hubert has got himself within 7/10 of Carl Lawrence as they work their way down the front main. Into the 90-degree corner they go. Very, very tight between the two of them. Nothing much in it. Can Willem Botha hold on to the back end of Johan Fourie? Johan Fourie starting to make a bit of a gap. Carl Lawrence, brilliant race by Carl Lawrence. Swys Hubert, Leon van Wyk, Christian van Wyk, Paul Gerber, Frank Leclerc, Robbie Teens, as fast as you can say the name, so they come through. Pierre-Olivier Loste is the next man that comes through. Then there's a bit of a gap behind that, and there they come now. That's one corner further back as Fanie Grevenstein from Leonardo Bakari. So it's all working out very well for the likes of Robbie Teens right now with JJ van der Merwe after that recovery. Now, to my mind, JJ is in and out of the pits, and he's the lead man in and out of the pits. A 37.5 as opposed to a 37.7. 2/10 that Willem Botha has lost out to Johan Fourie. And if he looks out his front window, he can see Johan Fourie just edging away from him at this point. Up the blind rise they go, out onto the back main, underneath the Lexus Experience bridge, through the gears, up into fifth gear. Willem Botha in second position. We're right on board with him. The race driver, SA number 23 entry, nice and smooth on that entrance. Lovely battle going on a little bit further down with Pierre-Olivier Lost getting past Robbie Teens on that inside line. Can he hold that all the way through? Yes, he does. Robbie Teens drops in behind him. Will he go for the cutback? Nope, not enough space. Pierre has moved up that one position. Paul Gerber is still all with a Martini car all over the back end of a Christian van Wyk right now. Nothing much between the two of them at all. That Martini car, right on the edge of the circuit. And Pierre and Robbie still in that massive battle, just a little bit behind them. If we look up the top, we can see another fastest lap for Johan Fourie, 137.313 for Johan Fourie from Willem Botha. He's now taken another 10th out of Willem Botha. There you see Willem Botha. Carl Lawrence being lost a little bit further back, but Carl Lawrence having the race of his life. Look at this, side by side, Leon van Wyk and Swys Hubert. Swys in the Oreo car, Leon van Wyk in the Being IT entry, down into the dip, nice and smooth with the 22 car. 4/10 of a second between them. Over the blind rise they go. In there behind Swys Hubert is Christian van Wyk, Paul Gerber, Frank Leclerc, Robbie Teens, the next man coming through. And that's just ahead of Pierre-Olivier Loste. That's directly in there behind him. Very, very close battle. 1.4 seconds now as we keep an eye on Robbie Teens and Pierre. And that's the passing maneuver. The 3 car moving up one position ahead of Robbie Teens. Just ahead of that massive battle with Paul Gerber. Paul eases it into the corner, gets the power down, uses all of the curbstone, uses as much space as what he can possibly use on that part of the circuit. Very, very close as we are 5 of the 15 laps that has already expired on us. Oh, going slowly there on the left-hand side. Oh, he ducks back in again. Christian van Wyk. 0.5 of a second in there behind the man on screen, Paul Gerber. Another battle a little bit further back is in fact Fanie Grevenstein. Fanie Grevenstein in the Camel Audi. Behind the Audi of Leonardo Bakari, who's ahead of Robbie Teens. Peter van der Spey, 14 seconds behind them. JJ van der Merwe, you see there in the background. Now, JJ van der Merwe is the lead car of those who have been in and out of the pits. And behind him, also in and out of the pits, is in fact Peter van der Spey. But remember, they were involved with the incident earlier on. As we go back to the battle between Swys Hubert and Leon van Wyk, riding on board, in fact, with Sways Hubert, there you see the Being IT entry directly in front of him. That Being IT entry is the Honda of Leon van Wyk being chased by the Honda of Sways Hubert with Paul Gerber directly in there behind him. There you can see there's the Paul Gerber battle with Christian van Wyk, just 0.3 of a second between them. Lap number 6 of a possible 15, 9 minutes 45 into a possible 25 minutes, as we then keep an eye on that gap up front. Now, Carl Lawrence, that was in 3rd position, has just come into the pits. So the whole thing now is, where is he and where is the leading man, JJ, that has been in and out of the pits? That is going to be the deciding factor. Once Carl Lawrence comes out of the pits, he is still in the pit lane. Is Carl Lawrence? He hasn't moved yet. Fanie Gravenstein will be coming through. No, Fanie Gravenstein decides to go back into the pits. And there comes JJ van der Merwe. He's only now coming through, but Carl Lawrence is on his way out. That means that Carl Lawrence is now the lead man that has been in and out of the pit lane. And in fact, that puts him 9 seconds, Carl Lawrence, ahead of JJ van der Merwe, that was involved in that initial incident where we lost a whole lot of cars from the middle to the front end of the pack, where they all went towards the back end of the pack. Let's have a look at what happened to Fanie Gravenstein. Second last corner, dives it up on the inside and gets a tip on the back bumper. We did see that incident earlier on. And then let's see with the onboard camera of JJ van der Merwe what exactly happened with JJ. There you see JJ in the green car on the outside line. He's in there behind Sways Hubert, turns it in. It's him and Peter van der Spey alongside one another that touch one another. Leon goes right around the outside and manages to get through there, and that is what dropped JJ down. From Peter van der Spey's point of view, there you see Peter van der Spey, the orange and green. He goes towards the inside line. Leon van Wyk is directly there behind him, and that is what transpired initially. Johan Fourie has come into the pit lane. There is Johan Fourie into the pits. Frank Leclerc has come in as well. Pierre-Olivier Lostey is also into the pits. Where is Carl Lawrence? Carl Lawrence is coming through. Is this going to put Carl Lawrence to the front end of the pack? I think so. I do think so, and it brings Carl Lawrence through, although, sorry, there's one in front of him still, and that be the main man, Johan Fourie. So Johan Fourie from Carl Lawrence coming out of the pits now is Frank and Pierre, and in the meantime, JJ, who has come through already, drops himself into that 3rd position, just 2.5 seconds ahead of Frank Leclerc, who's another 2.6 ahead of Pierre Lostey. Sways Hubert has decided he's got to make the move now on the Being IT entry of Leon van Wyk, and he's got Paul Gerber that's within 0.4 of a second in there behind him. That is that 3-car battle. The Oreo car in the middle, that is Sways Hubert. The Martini car directly behind him, that is Paul Gerber. Ooh, that camera shot is almost coming up behind the barrier of tires. So, into the pit lane goes Willem Botha. Into the pit lane comes Leon van Wyk as well, as does Sways Hubert, as does Paul Gerber, as does Christian van Wyk. Lap number 8 of a possible 15. These are the last guys to go into the pits. So, where is Johan Fourie? Johan Fourie has been in and out of the pits already. Is that Johan Fourie coming through? I kind of think so. There comes Johan Fourie. He's got to get through before anybody else gets out, and Johan Fourie will go to the front end of the pack. There's Willem Botha coming out of the pits. There's Leon van Wyk coming out of the pits as well. And then who's going to be the next man to come through there? It's Carl Lawrence that comes flying past with the Audi. That puts him ahead of Sways Hubert, Paul Gerber, and then Christian van Wyk as well. So everybody has now been in and out of the pits. Let's have a look at the gains and losses while we have a look at Johan Fourie, our lead man. He is utterly brilliant. He started in first. He's still in first. Willem Botha started in second. still in second. Leon van Wyk, the man from Being IT, that puts this all together for us, up 6 positions, up 2 behind him. Brilliant drive from Carl Lawrence, no doubt about it. Then just behind that, Swys Hubert, Paul Gerber, Christian van Wyk, JJ van der Merwe. He finds himself now in that 8th position. He is 1 position up from where he was. Just behind that is Frank Leclerc. Behind that, Pierre Oliver Loste from the leading now Grandmaster Peter van der Spey. This is playing into his hands, keeping in mind that Leonardo Beccari is there, but his biggest competition in Sandro Beccari is not out there. And this is exactly what Peter van der Spey needs to come up tops in the Grandmasters class. 1 down is Paul Gerber, 3 up is Peter van der Spey. Now a little bit further back is Robbie Teens, the comeback kid. Can he come back from this? He's 29 seconds ahead of the lead car out there, which is in fact Johan Ferry. But I think this is going to be just 1 step too big for Robbie to be able to come back from this somehow or other. Let's go to Paul Gerber, because that is where the battle is. They're pretty much side by side. Massive battle between himself and Swys Hubert. Swys drops in behind him, tries to have a look up, and I think the man that's got the best view of this is in fact Christian van Wyk. He's right in there behind that massive battle. Down to 4th, down to 3rd, down to 2nd. A little bit of oversteer corrects that one. Short change up into 3rd, in behind Swys Hubert with the Oreo car. Paul Gerber directly ahead of that. Underneath the Lexus bridge they go. Paul Gerber 1 position down, as is Swys Hubert. As we ride on board with Christian van Wyk. 7th is where he started. He'd love to go 1 up. JJ van der Merwe, the biggest loser in that initial scuffle that there was. Oh, beautiful entry there. Got right up on the back end of Swys Hubert, the brother of David Hubert, well-known racer from Killarney International Raceway. We 16 minutes 47 seconds into the 25 minutes as we ride on board with Christian van Wyk. That is the smallest gap of everybody. Johan Ferry's got 5 seconds on Willem Botha. I don't believe Willem Botha's going to have an answer for that. 6 up, Leon van Wyk, as they come through to complete yet another lap. Lap 11. Wow, using all the revs is Christian van Wyk. Hard on the brakes into turn number 1. Long looping right-hander. Move it across towards the right-hand side. Clip that curbstone. Oh, catches that beautiful piece of driving there. Kicks up a bit of dust, loses 0.2 of a second, but not a total train smash, because he's not lost any time at all. And you can see in there behind him is JJ. So with 17 minutes and 42 seconds gone, it's Johan Ferry that leads out very neatly at this stage of the fight, doing what he does best, lead from the front end of the pack. Up that short straight, we should see Willem Botha come into view. There is Willem Botha. Behind that, Leon van Wyk in the Being IT entry. There is Carl Lawrence that comes through. He's got 4 seconds gap on the Martini car in the hands of Paul Gerber. Swys Hubert. Behind Swys Hubert is Christian van Wyk. Started in 7th, still in 7th. As we said, JJ van der Merwe, the man that lost out pretty badly on this one. Lost a lot of time with that initial incident. There comes Frank Leclerc, and in behind Frank Leclerc is the leading Grandmaster. Started in 8th, down in a 10th position right now, but he's still ahead of all the Grandmasters, and that is the most important part for him in terms of the championship as he comes through to complete yet another lap. Swys Hubert not giving up whatsoever. Oh, right out there on the dust. Swys is pushing so hard. He wants to break into that top 5. There you see JJ van der Merwe in there behind them. The comeback kid Robbie Teens finds himself a long way off, not being able to catch up from here. Depending on the size of the invert, given the size of the field, will determine who's going to go to the front. So if it's a top 12 invert, it'll be Fanie Gravenstein at the moment and Pierre-Olivier Loste that will be at the front end of the restart. But for now, it's all about this man, Johan Fourie. And when he looks out the front window, it looks beautiful. There is nothing to worry about whatsoever. Having said that, as he comes out into the straight, can he still see Willem? There you see in the background Willem Botha coming through. So Willem Botha dropping away in that second position, but still quicker than everybody else. Leon van Wyk, brilliant ride. Driver of the moment has got to be Carl Lawrence. He had a great race last week as well. Paul Gerber, Suisse Joubert, Christian van Wyk, JJ van der Merwe. Coming through behind that is Frank Leclerc. There comes leading super senior Peter van der Spey, and in behind him Pierre-Olivier Loste. And then there's a bit of a gap from there back to Fanie Gravenstein. Behind Fanie Gravenstein is Leonardo Bakari. There comes Robbie Teens, one corner further back. Robbie Teens, remember we gave the gap earlier on. The next car behind him on circuit is in fact Johan Fourie. That's 21 seconds behind him. But Johan Fourie, the man on screen in the monster car, keeping it nice and smooth and clean, and still leading out. It's going to be great to see him and Willem try and come through the pack. Probably, I'm going to guess they're going to do a top 12, probably invert. Carl Lawrence, Paul Gerber, Suisse Joubert dives in there behind him. Christian van Wyk, JJ van der Merwe has gotten closer. Frank Leclerc, he's got a bit of space now in front of him. He's got a bit of space behind him as well. Back to Peter van der Spey. Pierre-Olivier Loste is the next man coming through. So Paul Gerber finds himself one position down, but he's still inside the top 5. We just saw Leon van Wyk in the front end of that shot. 3 more minutes to go. Just 3 more minutes. That's all that's left in it. The tightest gap right now is that gap. Back to Suisse Joubert. Everybody else is starting to spread out just a little. But you got to give it to this man, Johan Fourie. What a class act. Ex-South African main circuit V8 touring car champion. Resident up in Plattekloof in the Western Cape, Parow, northern suburbs. Hasn't been on main circuit for quite a long time now. Loves his iRacing. Got a beautiful rig downstairs in the games room. And that's what he enjoys doing for in his spare time. In that second position, Willem Botha. Looking pretty smooth is Willem. Willem's pretty much been the man that's capable of giving Johan Fourie a really strong run for his money. Had a little bit of bad luck here and there, but then again last season Johan Fourie also had his fair share of bad luck as well. The white flag has come out. It's the last time that Leon van Wyk and Carl Lawrence is going to be coming through. The next time is going to be for the checkered flag. Paul Gerber, Suisse Joubert, Christian van Wyk, JJ van der Merwe, Frank Leclerc, leading super senior Peter van der Spey, Pierre-Olivier Loste. Coming up now towards the top end of the circuit. He's 21 seconds behind Peter van der Spey, so he'll now be coming out into the front main. But let's give the last part of this lap to the Monster Energy Hyundai as he works his way around. That's the N series that he's taking part in. Some rallycross cars in the same format as that is the Veloster, part of the sports car side of the Hyundai range of cars, as Johan Fourie works his way through on the very last lap. And it's going to be for the checkered flag. Ah, love it, love it, love it. Johan Fourie ahead of Willem Botha. Well done, Johan. Well done, Willem. Once again, a consummate effort as the being IT entry of Leon just ahead of what's got to be my driver of the race, Carl Lawrence. Brilliant drive by Carl ahead of Paul Haver. Swayze Hubert in the Oreo car. Christian van Wyk. JJ van der Merwe, 5 positions down. Won't be happy with that whatsoever. Frank Leclerc. Peter van der Spey leading Super Senior. Behind that will be Pierre-Olivier Loste. And then there's a bit of a gap behind him. There he comes through now. Fanie Gravenstein. That's the pit entry. Coming through into the front main. Fanie Gravenstein. Captain Peter van der Spey on the lead lap right there where it counted. It was great running for him as Leonardo Bakari comes through, and then the comeback kid. He's actually made up quite a bit of ground, Robbie Teens. Nice shell emblem on the side of that motor car as he comes through and takes up that last position on the lead lap. We lost out on Dou Garbe, and that is that. So let's have a look at those results. Johan Fourie started right at the front, ended right at the front. Brilliant. What we would expect and what we're accustomed to from Johan Fourie. Willem Botha in second from Leon van Wyk. Carl Lawrence, I've got to give him driver for this one. Well done, Carl Lawrence. Paul Gerber, very, very good. Lovely to have Swayze Hubert back in there. Christian van Wyk, always in the mix. JJ van der Merwe, unlucky. We'll see where he goes to on the change-up. But at this stage of the fight, it's Peter van der Spey that breaks into the top 10. So for those of you that arrived late, this is where we are right now. We're doing TCRs at Yokohama, and a massive big thanks to Induction Noise, our main sponsor for this season. So we've got a 2-minute break between the first and the second race. We're going to come back to you with the start of race number 2. Let's have a look at Induction Noise, fueled by ROWE Performance. We're thrilled to announce that Induction Noise is now an official ROWE Motor Oil and Lubricants reseller. ROWE isn't just another oil brand, it's the name behind ROWE Racing. And I think they're very proud to be linked up, the endurance specialists who've conquered the legendary 24 Hours of Nürburgring and 24 Hours of Spa. The same lubricants that keep GT3 machines alive through day-long battles at full throttle are now available for your own ride. That is brilliant. ROWE Performance and Induction Noise. A big thanks to them for their input into this lovely season that we are enjoying so far. Right, let's see how this one's going to play itself out. Who will find themselves where on the grid? So it's going to be Fanie Cravenstein and Pierre-Oliver Loste on the front row of the grid. Oh, Peter van der Spey and Frank Leclerc alongside one another. It's going to be JJ van der Merwe as they come off the line and down towards turn number 1. And it looks like it's going to be Peter van der Spey that's going to go for the dive. Peter van der Spey goes to the front end. It's Pierre in there behind him. Then it's our international driver, Frank Leclerc. In behind that is Sway Schubert. Oh, 4 abreast. You can't go through there 4 abreast. Somehow they all seem to make it through. I don't know how they all got through there. Paul Gerber finds himself in that whole gaggle of cars. Leon van Wyk not backing out either. Goes over the grass, gets it a little bit sideways. And Johan Verrie sticks it up on the inside of Leon van Wyk, going around on that outside line, because that's pretty much the safest way to go right now. There is Willem Botha. Johan Verrie is going to try and go for the move, but Leon van Wyk is going to try and go for the move as well. Leon van Wyk's got to decide who's going to be the quicker of the two. Does he follow through on that inside line or not? Look how close they are to one another. Johan Verrie's fighting his way through. He knows that if Willem Botha gets away at the front end of the pack, is see a little bit of contact, and Johan Verrie gets through on that inside line. I think it was Robbie Teens. Willem Botha was involved with that one as well. So Willem Botha under pressure to try and come through there with Johan Verrie. And it didn't work out for him. It's Captain Peter van der Spey. It's Frank Leclerc. It's Pierre-Oliver Loste. Coming through directly behind that is a Sway Schubert. Lovely drive so far once again by Sway Schubert. Then it's going to be Fanie Cravenstein. Still holding on there is Paul Gerber. Johan Verrie's come through a long way behind. Johan Verrie is Carl Lawrence, Christian van Wyk, Leon van Wyk, and then it is Leonardo Bakari. But the massive battle is around about Fanie Cravenstein. JJ van der Merwe has decided to go into the pits, and Willem Botha as well. And once again, we've got a contact situation there, and yeah, we're losing cars left, right, and center right now as Leonardo Bakari passed Pierre-Oliver Loste. Johan Verrie also got past Paul Gerber. Oh, look at that up on the inside of Cravenstein. Here's Johan Verrie. Sway Schubert decides, I'm going with you. Where you go, I go. Where you go, I go. And Swayze is going to be late on the brakes. Comes up on the inside, and Swayze goes through on Fanie Cravenstein from Paul Gerber, directly in there behind Paul Gerber. Well, they swap positions. Fanie finds himself now on the outside. He's got to be careful to turn in and maybe be touched on the back end there by the man directly behind him. What a massive struggle this is. Where do you go? What do you do? Gravenstein goes to the outside. Paul Gerber, can he make up that position? Swace is on that inside line and he's in there behind Christian van Wyk. Swace is on the right side of the track that he needs, but is he going to be quick enough to go in there? And Leon van Wyk decides it's time to go into the pit lane. He knows the problems is going to be with this one. There is no way around it. Something's got to give. Swace Hubert right in there behind Christian van Wyk, looks at the line, backs out of it and goes back into his original position. But in the meantime, Peter van der Spy, Captain Pete, is doing it. Brilliant stuff. Up and run. Don't even look behind you. Let them do whatever they're doing. Every now and again, look behind you. Yep, that's the gap that you've got. So don't worry about what they're doing. Worry about what you're doing and don't make mistakes. Frank Leclerc, Johan Fourie up into third position already. Carl Lawrence again. Christian van Wyk, Swace Hubert, Paul Gerber, Robbie Teens. I think that's going to be Paul Gerber that's going to be on a one-on-one with Swace. Paul Gerber goes ahead there of Robbie Teens. Oops, that was very close. They almost made contact. Fighting it out, not going to give it away for nothing. What a brilliant race. Round number 4, season 15, Masters and Grand Masters. Johan Fourie is closing down on Frank Leclerc. Right in there behind. There you saw our leader that just went through was Peter van der Spy, but Johan Fourie is on a flyer. He's come right through the pack when it was tight. He found a way somehow. I'm going to predict he's going to go for the dive going down into turn number 1. Is he close enough? He climbs out of the slipstream. These TCRs do have quite an effect on the slipstream. And he makes it through. I think Frank Leclerc made up his mind. I can't beat this guy straight out. So let's not get involved in a fight with him whatsoever. Let's rather play it all kinds of safe and make sure that I don't lose out myself. So Johan Fourie will go in search of Peter van der Spy. Now, knowing Peter van der Spy, he's not going to get tangled up with Johan Fourie. He'll let Johan Fourie slowly but surely close on him. Then when Johan Fourie gets to him, he will make sure he doesn't lose too much ground because Frank Leclerc is holding onto the back end of Johan Fourie. Carl Lawrence is the next man coming through in the Audi. Directly behind him is Christian van Wyk, who's having yet another good race. Swace Hubert is under pressure because Paul Gerber is right on his back bumper. 1.1 seconds further back is Robbie Teens. Behind that is Fanie Gravenstein coming through with the camel car. Fanie Gravenstein, he's had a pretty good session so far, I think. I think he'll be pretty chuffed with that in general. But Christian van Wyk's battle carries on with the likes of Carl Lawrence holding it nice and smooth onto the curb. Now you've got to carry as much pace through there as possible. You cannot lose pace there. Oh, perfect, perfect. You cannot do any better than that. And oopsie. Oh, Peter van der Spy is coming to the pits. Peter van der Spy has come into the pits. There is the original leader. Johan Fourie has gone through. That's the gap that he's pulled on Frank Leclerc. Carl Lawrence ahead of Christian. Brilliant Carl Lawrence doing it again. Man, oh man, oh man. Is he not having a magical season? Paul Gerber. Swace Hubert, loving having him back in the series, and he's loving the racing as well. He's Swace Hubert. Nice close-up shot of the Oreo car. See the nose just drifted away as he moved out towards the outside. But Christian van Wyk and Carl Lawrence battle just ahead of them. There you see the two of them as they work their way through. U-turn right-hander, 90-degree left-hander. Pulls all the way back. It just keeps on turning on you. Up the short straight into the 90-degree left-hander. Now the right-hander climbing up the hill. 2 more corners to go for them. Oh, going into the pits. Going into the pits. He decides it's time to go into the pits as Carl Lawrence. Now let's have a look, see who has been into the pits and who has not. Paul Gerber will go through. Suisse Hubert will go through. Carl Lawrence is going to get passed now in the not too distant future by Robbie Teens. There comes Leonardo Bakari. So Peter van der Spey has been in. Leonardo and Robbie have not been into the pits yet. Fanny Gravenstein comes in. There we see Peter van der Spey coming through. Carl Lawrence coming out of the pit lane. And who's going to get it? It'll be in behind Leon van Wyk. You saw the green card. JJ just going through there as well. Suisse Hubert still looking at the back end of that car. Lap for lap for lap. It just doesn't want to get any closer. He's tried everything. We lap number 6 out of 15. 9 minutes 20 of the 25 minutes. Johan Verrie's gone from the back of the pack to the front. But remember, he has not yet been into the pits, has Johan Verrie. Not that that's going to slow him down that much. Frank Leclerc, Christian van Wyk, Paul Gerber, Suisse Hubert. 4 seconds back is Robbie Teens. There's a gap between Robbie Teens and Leonardo Bakari, and Leonardo Bakari's got Pierre-Olivier Loste directly in there behind him. So the lead man that has been, Suisse Hubert is getting a warning there. That you see the yellow for track limits. So the leading man, in fact, at the moment is still Peter van der Spey. I see somebody coming into the pits there. I think that's Leonardo Bakari. I think, yep, that's Leonardo Bakari that comes into the pits. Slows it right down. There you hear the sirens going in the background. Comes up onto his position. Peter van der Spey, the lead man, is going to come past him. Of the people that have been in and out of the pits, there goes Peter van der Spey, there goes JJ van der Merwe, there goes Leon van Wyk, there goes Willem Botha, Carl Lawrence as well. Leonardo Bakari is still in the pits. Where's Fanny Gravenstein? Here, Fanny Gravenstein with 1 more corner to go. Leonardo still standing in the pits. Fanny's the next man that's going to be coming through there. That's the last corner. Leonardo still standing still. Here comes, there he gets going. Here comes Fanny Gravenstein. Who's going to win out on this one? Here comes Leonardo. Past the box and out down towards turn number 1. And it's going to be Fanny Gravenstein that's going to chop him on the very last. Johan Verrie at the front end of the pack. Is he going to gain on this lap? It's lap 7 of 15. So knowing Johan, he will come in either this lap or the next lap. Willem Botha on the back end of Leon van Wyk. Right, in he comes, Johan Verrie. Now remember, the lead car that's been in and out is Peter van der Spey, Frank Leclerc. He's going to come in. It's Christian van Wyk that's going to come in. What about Paul Gerber? Paul Gerber says, not yet. Not yet. I want to lead for a lap. Suisse Hubert says, I also want to stay out there. What about Robbie Teens? Robbie Teens has not gone in. Pierre-Olivier Loste, he has gone into the pits. So Paul Gerber now leads out as Johan Verrie, Frank Leclerc, Christian van Wyk and Pierre-Olivier are all in the pits. The leading man that has been in and out is in fact that man there. But Johan Verrie is on his way out of the pits. There comes Peter van der Spey and crew, and it's going to be Johan Verrie from Peter van der Spey, JJ van der Merwe, Willem Botha, Leon van Wyk, Carl Lawrence, Frank Leclerc, Christian van Wyk. Coming out now is Pierre, which means that still leaves Paul Gerber, Suisse Hubert and Robbie Teens at the front end of the pack. There you see all 3 of them who have not been into the pits. There comes Suisse. There comes Robbie Teens. Johan Verrie only 9 seconds behind them, in and out of the pits already. So when they go in, Johan is going to jump them, which means Captain Peter van der Spey is in a genuine second position. Yes, he did start near the front end of the pack, but He is doing a lovely job. Look at how smooth he drives this car. Flies golf jets for a living. Helicopters as well. Loves his poker. On a Sunday they have poker nights at his house. JJ van der Merwe, Willem Botha, Leon van Wyk, Lineston, Carl Lawrence, Frank Leclerc, Christian van Wyk. It doesn't get any closer. The front runners are in. Paul Gerber is in. Swayze Hubert is in. Robbie Teens is in. And there comes Johan Fourie. And he's going to go right past everybody. There comes Johan Fourie. In and out of the pits already. There comes the next man through, Peter van der Spey. JJ van der Merwe. Paul Gerber is on his way out of the pits, but everybody's going to pile past him before he can get it up to pace. So everybody has now been in and out of the pits. Swayze Hubert on his way out in the Honda. But look at this battle. Frank Leclerc, Paul Gerber, and Christian van Wyk. Christian's right in there underneath the back bumper. Next one's going to be a right-hander. You don't want to be on the outside line unless you're going to do the proverbial comeback. No, there's no cutback on that one. Unfortunately, the Martini car blocking that line, making sure that nothing changes. Willem Botha is now starting to chase down JJ van der Merwe. Lap number 9 of 15. 14 and a half minutes into this 25-minute race. Now we know that Willem Botha can be very, very quick. Let's have a look at the best lap times that has been put up so far. Willem Botha 37.7, a 38.6, so 9/10 of a second between the fastest of JJ and Willem when they are not in traffic. So that means that Willem Botha, Johan Fourie, new fastest lap. Sticking up a lap record. Look at that. Willem Botha right on the back end of JJ. And they are closing down just a smidgen on Peter van der Spey, who's keeping it nice and clean and smooth. Not getting himself involved in anything. Johan Fourie from Peter van der Spey. And here comes that pack. Look at that. What a dives up on the inside. Willem Botha. JJ gonna fight that one. He says, nope, you keep on trucking. I know I can't beat out on you, although he keeps that inside line and he keeps Willem at bay. Willem's having a look around the outside. The next one's gonna be a left-hander, and Willem Botha goes through on JJ. Now the main thing to my mind why JJ did that is to not lose any time, because he's quite aware that Carl Lawrence has just got past Leon van Wyk, and they are not far behind him at all. There, Willem comes through JJ. There is Carl, and there is Leon. Carl on the inside, Leon in the being IT entry on the outside line. Underneath the bridge they went. Who's going to be the lead car going in there? It's going to be Carl Lawrence just ahead of Leon van Wyk. There you just saw the roof of Paul Gerber coming through underneath that. Touches the brakes, climbs the curbstone, lines it up nice and smooth. Is Leon van Wyk right underneath the bumper of driver of race number 1, Carl Lawrence. Two completely different lines that they take going in there. Well, Leon unfortunately was a bit affected by the car in front of him. You would have thought that he would have not done the late braking mistake with the car in front of him, but so be it. You tend to follow on who's directly there with you. Christian van Wyk sees that puff of dust, knows that that means that Paul Gerber and Leon van Wyk are under a whole bunch of pressure. JJ van der Merwe, having been passed by Willem Botha, lap 11 of 15 in the JDS entry. That Honda resplendent in green behind the Veloster. Directly in front of him, the N-Series Veloster in the hands of Willem Botha. Now Willem Botha will fancy, seeing that Johan Fourie won race number 1, he will fancy at least getting a second position, which means that having passed JJ, he's now got to go and fetch that man in front of him. He's only got a couple of minutes. What does Peter van der Spey do? Does he try and hold Willem behind him? and in so doing lose a bit of time and then go into the clutches of this whole gaggle of cars that's in there behind that. That could lead to a train of guys trying to get through and getting involved in an incident, which he definitely does not want. There you see Carl Lawrence in the background with Leon van Wyk. Now, they're all pretty much on the pace, as is Paul Gerber and Christian van Wyk. And in fact, add to that, our international driver, Frank Leclerc. 5.5 minutes to go. And Willem Botha desperately trying to catch onto the back bumper of Peter van der Spey. He got past JJ and he's got the pace to get a little bit away from JJ, but that's all fine. Look at that packed grandstand. Down through the gears, nice and smooth. Use the curve, drifted off. Willem with a bit of a wash away on the front end there under braking. Probably doing a bit of trail braking, left foot. Short change up the hill. Gaps not closing at this stage of the fight. Just over a second. There he goes to 0.9, 0.8 under braking. Peter will get on the gas quicker and open it back up again. I must say JJ's doing a pretty decent job. JJ's not being lost in the dust whatsoever. That's Super Willem that's in front of him. And Willem hasn't exactly got away from him as we're 19.5 minutes into this, 25 minutes, round number 4, season number 15, Masters and Grand Masters. Nice little short change. But I think we need to actually go on board with Paul Gerber, because Paul Gerber is very close to the back end of Leon van Wyk. Pushing that Honda to the limits. Honda versus Honda. Oh, nice under the braking, but can he be same pace coming out of the corner? Yes, he can. Is Leon closing? Leon closes the line off. He realized that was a little bit too close for comfort, but that will give Paul Gerber a nice drive. You come flat foot through this, but you've got to use a whole bunch of curbstone with these TCRs. Carry as much pace as you can. Use that curving on the outside, but try not to go anything too wide. And is this going to be the passing maneuver onto Leon? Leon's not backing out of this one whatsoever. As they come up towards the corner, Leon decides, nope, I'm going to have to give that one away. I cannot hold on to that one at all. But they're so close to one another. Look at this. Leon takes the wider line coming in. And that creates just a smidgen of a gap between them. But don't forget about the lead man, Johan Fourie. From Peter van der Spey. So, Peter's got a fair gap on JJ, and I think he's going to be able to hold on to that the way he's going at the moment right now. Here's the balance of the pack coming through. Let's have a look at the last lap times. Peter van der Spey 138.8, also 138.8. That's why you can see visually the gap has not changed between Peter van der Spey and JJ van der Merwe. Peter van der Spey, the super senior, doing the race of his life right now. There you see Paul Gerber. Just in front of Paul Gerber is Carl Lawrence. That's also very, very good. I'm very impressed with what Carl Lawrence has done in the first 4 races of the season. It's really been awesome. Unfortunately, Willem Botha finds himself a long way back. Willem's been a little bit unlucky because we know Willem Botha is to within 1,000th of a second on the same pace as the likes of Johan Fourie, as we keep an eye on Carl Lawrence in there behind JJ, in there behind Peter van der Spey, in there behind that is Paul Gerber. There comes Leon van Wyk, there comes Christian van Wyk, Frank Leclerc, the next man coming through behind that. He's got a bit of a lonely time right now with 2.5 minutes to go. Captain Peter van der Spey staying ahead there of JJ. Paul Gerber is now starting to close up on Carl Lawrence. Can he get close enough to put the pressure on Carl Lawrence and take Carl out of a top 4? I tend to think Carl Lawrence has got this. I somehow think he has got it. If you look at it right now, you can see Johan Fourie's pulled away at the front by 9 seconds. Utterly amazing. That number 1 yellow dot that's working its way now into the tight left-hander. That's the leader, Peter van der Spey in the blue. The three blues that you see, that is the track position of the Grandmasters right now, as Johan Fourie comes through to do yet another lap. Will he get the white flag yet? I do not think so. We'll see when he comes through. Yes, on the last lap. On the last lap for Johan Fourie. On the last lap for Peter van der Spey, JJ van der Merwe, Carl Lawrence, Paul Gerber, Christian van Wyk, Frank Leclerc. Bit of a gap then back to Swayze, who's had a pretty good day today, make no mistake. As the Oreo car comes through in a 9th position. Still in the top 10 is in fact still Willem Botha. Pierre-Olivier lost coming through just outside of the top 10. Fanie Gravenstein, as he works his way through with the Camel car into the front main for the last time. Super Senior Leonardo Beccari, and then a bit of a distance back to Robbie Tings. Let's enjoy the last part of this lap, and let's ride on board with Johan Fourie. Taken 11 seconds out of everybody and anybody else. Comes through there nice and smoothly. This is what it looks like when you're leading out without any problems whatsoever. Maybe we can stay on board with him and see what it looks like to see that checkered flag to come across the line in that first position. That's what it looks like, and you'll see the flag man on the right hand side. There he's waving the flag, and Johan Fourie goes through to take the win for race number 2 as well. Brilliant Peter van der Spey, amazing stuff. JJ van der Merwe comes through directly behind that. Then it's Carl Lawrence, then it's Paul Gerber, Leon van Wyk, Christian van Wyk. A little bit of a gap back to Frank Leclerc. Then it's going to be Swayze Hubert. Willem Botha trying to have a go there on the last. Willem Botha comes through. He wraps up the top 10. 11th will go to Pierre-Olivier Loste. Then the Camel 55 Audi TCR of Fanie Gravenstein will be the next man coming through behind that. And Super Senior in there behind him. Second overall in class will be Leonardo Beccari. And then one more to go. The original comeback kid, Robbie Tings. Hasn't worked out for Robbie this time around. Got to meet Robbie at Killarney International Raceway about a year and a half back. Walks up to me and says, "You don't know who I am." So I said, "No, I don't. But you are a good looking guy." He says, "I am the original comeback kid. My name's Robbie Tings." And a lovely chat with Robbie Tings as he goes across the line to finish up his race. Well, I tell you what, that was awesome stuff. It really, really was. So I think it's time for us to have a look now at the results. Okay, so race number 1, Johan Fourie from Willem Botha, Leon van Wyk, Carl Lawrence, and Paul Gerber, top 5, Team Try Hard Racing. That one we gave the race to Carl Lawrence. Having said that, Johan Fourie, Willem Botha, brilliant. Leon van Wyk to beat out on everybody else actually also deserves driver of the race, but he's been there and thereabouts all the time. Carl Lawrence is the man on the climb, so I tend to give it to Carl Lawrence. A nice drive there by Paul Gerber. Swayze Hubert just outside the top 5 from Christian van Wyk. Peter van der Spey, that one out from Leonardo Beccari and Robbie Tings. All right, let's have a look at that feature. Johan Fourie, brilliant. On the invert, and he rides all the way to the front. He should be driver of this race, but Peter van der Spey starting at the front, ending in 2nd position, and look at that, 12, 15, 15, 18, 19, 24 seconds behind him. He beat everybody other than the ex-South African main circuit champion, fair and square. He made no mistakes, he made no errors. I make Peter van der Spey driver of race number 2, and kudos to Carl Lawrence coming up in a top 4 there as well. JJ, one of his best results for a period of time. Leon dropping down to that 6th, which is still brilliant, but Leon likes to be in the top 5, and he deserves to be in that top 5 as well. So, the driver of race number 1, Carl Lawrence. The driver of race number 2, Peter van der Spey. But we've got to be fair, we've got to be honest. Fastest qualifier, double race winner today, Johan Ferry, the overall driver of the day for race number 4 of season 15 of Masters and Grand Masters. I hope you guys enjoyed the time with us. My name's Gary Fleming from Second Gear Productions, and I really look forward to having a chat with you guys again next week. And I must end off by saying a massive big thanks to Induction Noise that make it all possible. From me from now till next week Tuesday, thanks everybody, and goodbye.